and for this occasion. But before I go on, I want to thank God. I will want to stand on the protocol, very ably put on it's on the floor, isn't it? If I have to stand on it. Put on the floor by the current IGP. But having said that, I have to, of course, acknowledge that the President of the Federal Republic is being represented. I have to especially acknowledge the author and at the same time the celebrant and his admirable wife. Current IGP, I have to in a special way acknowledge you because maybe the reason I'm alive today is because you are one of those who kept me alive when I was under house arrest. Let me thank the Master of Ceremony. You did too much because we are here to celebrate an author. And you left the author and you started celebrating a forgotten individual. And so in future, let us concentrate on what is essential. And then let's leave exposed what is not essential, like a miniskirt. And for this occasion, what is essential is IGP Sunday Hidero, retired, the author, and the celebrant. Now, before I talk a little bit about IGP Hidero, you should know my background. I am a village boy. And I mean that. And when I was growing up in the village, we never knew about police because my village had no road to it. But we had one man. It's not a member of the National Police Force. It's a member of the NA Police, local one. And he was a man who didn't like pleading. But occasionally he would come to our village for one thing or the other. And when people started pleading, I beg, I beg, I beg, this man, to show that he's a no-nonsense man, a man of integrity, he will burst into English. Normally, he wouldn't speak English. He will burst into English and said, "My duty must be due." And that means that he will not accept any pleading or any begging or he will not compromise on anything. "My duty must be due, police," was the first one I came across. And IGP retired Sunday Hidero is "My duty must be due, police officer." The second policeman that I came across in my village was a sad occasion. We have a cluster of villages around, and there was a murder committed on a farm. And the investigation, we didn't know was going on. Normally, we had people in our village coming as laborers, working on the farm from other parts of the country and even from as far away as Republic of Benin. Then there was this one in our village, and he became a laborer. He was a laborer. He was a laborer for almost 3 months. We did not know that he was investigating. Until one day he came in police uniform and arrested 3 people who were implicated or alleged to be involved in the murder of the man who was killed on the farm. Again, my experience of the way police work was being done, and it must be done. And that investigation took months, made sure that they got the man who committed the murder. How I wish that could continue. Like retired IGP said, that how he wished something he had established. I think you call it attitudinal. Will have continued. How I wish police investigation like that one in our village had continued. Then the situation we have on our hand today would not have been as bad as it is. But one thing I will say, of those 2 police experiences that I have just mentioned, they were not police officers from other parts of the country. They were police officers who knew the situation in the location where they are. And maybe that should make us to start rethinking what we have put away. And we were not the only country that did it, when we did it, I found out that in Colombia, they did exactly what we did. Eliminating local or native police system and having a central national police system, more or less for the same reason that we eliminated ours. Because in my own eye, I witnessed people bringing dead bodies from other places to the backyard of their political adversary, and then getting their political adversary arrested. And in fact, in one case, the political adversary was executed. And I believe that that was the main reason why we eliminated local native police. But in Colombia, they have gone back. They have gone back when they are faced with terrorism, when they are faced with drug issues, that they needed people who know the ground to be able to do what needed to be done. But IGP retired Sunday Hindero. Let me congratulate you. I didn't realize that you have written 10 books altogether. And as the man who pointed that out to us said, writing requires an element of discipline. And by every means and every standard, you are a well-disciplined police officer. It requires a little bit of intellectualism. It requires reflection. It requires devotion. And all these you have exhibited, you have manifested. And for me, just to underline what we did together, I put it in the little note that I wrote as Guru message. And if you allow me, I will read a bit of it. Sunday, I recall when I appointed you as the Inspector General of Police in 2005. Nigeria was at a critical juncture in its democratic journey. I saw in you not just a police officer, but a legal mind and a strategic thinker capable of navigating the complex security landscape of our nation. Indeed, your tenure, to my expectation, stood out as a period of remarkable reform and discipline. You brought intelligence-led policing to the forefront championed community policing initiative and restored public confidence through your zero tolerance stance on corruption within the force. The welfare scheme and capacity building program you introduced for officers remain touchstones of purposeful leadership. You are a transformational leader. By documenting your experience in these 2 volumes, you have transformed from being a practitioner of security to a custodian of its wisdom. This intellectual contribution is vital for the next generation of officers who must learn that policing is as much about the mind as it is about might. Retired IGP, I felicitate with you because you are a leader of no mean order. And then you have established what a good leader should do. A good leader should be remembered after he has stopped being in whatever official position he is. But he should be remembered beyond that. He should be remembered even after he has been recalled by his creator. And there are 3 things that can make you be remembered. Not the amount of money you have, not the houses you build. It is your action. And we have had some of them here. It is your writing, because that will live after you. It is the institutions that you build, because you will be remembered as long as those institutions exist. My dear IGP, my dear brother, yes, you've done it. You have come, you have seen, you have done your bit, you have stepped aside. But like it was said by one of those who have spoken before me, you have not given up, and you must not give up. Thank you. A good leader doesn't give up. A good leader goes on in position of leadership until he or she breathes the last. And God will spare your life to continue to make contribution in this area of leadership, to make this country what God has created it to be: a land of peace, a land of security, a land of stability, a land flowing with milk and honey, a land of harmony. That is what you have done, and that's what you are still doing. Those who are coming after you will follow your footsteps. And in your lifetime, and in my lifetime, we will have Nigeria that we build. Because we have been all crying for Nigeria that we want. We have to build the Nigeria that we want, not the Nigeria that we want that has escaped us. Let us come together and build the Nigeria that will serve us. Let us have Nigeria that we build. Thank you very much.
I have been transferred so many times, but at a particular time, I had a special transfer. Everybody in our profession knows when you are transferred, it is through a signal. But I had a special one where I was transferred with just a letter by the former Inspector General of Police. I'm sure he must have forgotten. He called me into his office while serving at the peacekeeping department, 2007. And you briefed me about incident happening in Ikare. There was dispute between two KBACs in Ikare, and there have been communal fights going on. And he called me and briefed me about Ikare right from the peacekeeping department. Young officer, I don't know you too well, but I've heard this about you. You are going to Ikare, and this is what you are going to do. Ikare was volatile. So he wrote a letter with his hand, no signal. He wrote it in detail and gave it to me to read. He wrote the letter directly to the Commissioner of Police, Ondo State. And I read it. In it was my brief. I've not forgotten today how you coined that letter. And you gave me instruction to move immediately to Ondo State and deliver the letter to the Commissioner of Police, which I did, and I was posted to Ikare as the divisional police officer. And the dispute was between the two KBACs, Owale and Olukare. And you told me how to relate with both of them. The Olukare did not see Owale as a king, so he calls him Chief Owale. Whereas the KBAC Owale prefers, they call him KBAC Owale. So the style I adopted was this, with your permission. Whenever I went to KBAC Owale, I'll talk to him and I'll say, Chief Olukare told me this and that, and he will be very happy. So when I go back to KBAC Olukare, I'll say, I'm just coming from Chief Owale, and they were both happy. It was a wonderful time there, and the crisis came down, and they almost protested that I should not leave because I was relating with the two of them, but neither did they know that I was getting direct tutelage from you, sir. Thank you, sir. Distinguished guests and gentlemen, it is with great honor and delight that I stand before you today to celebrate a man whose name etched in the annals of policing in Nigeria. IGP Sunday Ayindero, the 12th Inspector General of Police. Sir Ayindero's tenure was defined not merely by rank, but by character, conviction, and commitment to the ideals of law enforcement. He led with integrity at a time when the institution needed steady hands. And he demonstrated that public service, when pursued with purpose, can leave a legacy that outlives the office. Today, as he gives us this gift of a book, amongst many of his books that we read right from Police Academy, he reminds us once again that a great officer never truly retires. He continues to serve. Through these pages, he passed the torch of wisdom to a new generation of officers, leaders, and citizens who dare to believe in a safer, better Nigeria. On behalf of members of the Nigerian Police Force, I congratulate you, sir, on this remarkable milestone. May this book inspire many, provoke thought, and stand as a testimony to a life of distinguished service. Congratulations, sir. Your legacy endures, sir.
not many people can do what Baba is doing. And let me reveal something to you today. During my tenure as IG and after, Baba had not discussed politics with me. Not one day. He gave you the independence to manage your duty. You will see it in my book. Some of the things happening, and I will tell you one. Baba was not in the know, and I will give you an example. As an IG, some politicians went together and created a job. And they said, IG, you are the one to carry out the duty. And I was acting. I looked at the job. I said, this is not police job. Go and get another means of solving the problem. They went and met Baba and said, this IGO cannot be our IG. Baba called me and said, what did you do to these people? They say you cannot be their IG. I said, Baba, if I did what they asked me to do, I would not only embarrass Baba, I will embarrass the government. Baba said, we call a meeting. Baba called a meeting of those politicians and called me and asked them, what did you say the IG did? They couldn't go straight to the point. They said the IG could not help them. And I said what I told Baba, that if I did what they did, I will embarrass Baba. I will embarrass government. Okay. After that meeting, Baba adjourned it. Till today, we have not met. That is Baba for you. Another instance. Don't say anything behind Baba. Baba will ask the person you are talking about. The other one was, as the IG, the governor of my state went and met Baba and told him that I wanted to be the governor of Ondo State. Baba called me. See what your governor said, though. I said, Baba, if I wanted to be the governor of Ondo State, I have not been in politics before. I will come to you and ask, how do we do it? Baba said, all right, go and meet the governor and tell him this was what he told me. I took helicopter to Akure. In fact, that incident saved the life of my mom because she was in coma when I had to see her. The blood sugar went up. I had to get doctor to look after her and went to Akure. I went to Akure. I said, Governor, this was what the president said. He said it is true. I said, why didn't you ask me? They don't ask policeman like that. Eventually, I told him I had no flair for politics. I can't stand a situation when you will meet at 12 o'clock and decide to meet at 9 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, some people have met, have changed the decision. And when you come 9 o'clock, things don't change. I couldn't. Baba was not sleeping, no. At 12 o'clock, he will call me and say this was what he had. He say, find out. I will call my AIG, I will call my CPs. Give me situation report. They will give me situation report. At 3 o'clock, Baba will call you. What is the result? I will report to him. He will say, okay, let us meet at 6 or 9 o'clock. So Baba doesn't sleep. So I am grateful, sir, for the leadership you gave me. They are contained in my books, some of these incidents, at least to guide others. In the book also is how I manage strikes demonstration. Baba didn't tell me this is how you have to manage demonstration. When Oshomole says he was going to demonstrate and so on, he told me, I said, yes, you have the right to demonstrate. It is your right. Every citizen has that right. But I will control the routes. If you want to go through Wuse Market, I say no. If you want to go through mosque on Friday, I say no. So I went to his office and he came to me and we agreed on the route throughout the country. In Lagos, Gani Fahimi, Professor Shoyinka, Fadana, Bekora Sokutit were the ones who demonstrated along Ikorodu Road. Miscreants that were about to enter the demonstration, they were the ones who waded them off. My policemen were not carrying arms. They were at the rear. In the end, we had a demonstration where nobody was killed or injured. And that was because Baba gave me the independence, the right to do my own duty, the way I could. So for the IGs that are coming, you have to be careful with politicians. It's like a wind. They will use you and dump you after. You must strive to be independent. I also want to tell others, thank others who gave encomiums on me, and particularly the KBACs, all the KBACs, most of the KBACs from my area in Akuko, most of them are here. I want to thank them for being here. Now these days, I found out that my retentivity varies inversely as my age. As I'm growing old, I forget a lot of things. So I've put certain things here. But for the Lord's grace and mercy, where will I have been? I will say it in Yoruba. Ori ọ̀fẹ́ ṣáá ni, àánú ni mo rí gbà. I started writing these books, especially Police and the Law in Nigeria, in 2012, 14 years ago, when I was charged to court. I could not believe it. I, who pioneered police prosecution in superior courts of records, ended up being prosecuted. But I put off the fear of the unknown and moved on. I put off worry about the event beyond my control, the event that I could not change. I thank my lawyer, Alex Zion, SAN, for his expertise. Is he here? Alex Zion's chamber. Well, I thank him so much for what he did. Each time I was faced with challenges in service, rather than being bitter and discouraged, I channeled my energies to writing books. As mentioned earlier on, I'm the author of 10 books. The books to be launched today contain pictures of those I interacted with in my journey in the police force. They include my interaction with Colonel Sani Bello, the administrator of Kano State in 1976. I was ASP then. Colonel Sani Bello met my commissioner of police. He said he should please release me at 4 o'clock so that we can play tennis together. That was more like the governor of the state. So we went there, we were playing. People gathered. And the governor asked me what I wanted. I said, you should buy me tennis racket. He laughed. He said, what were all these people watching us? What do you think they were there? He told me that, all right, he will give me something. He gave me a land for 100 naira. And that started the foundation of my life. So I appreciate it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Jagaban, who was the governor of Lagos State while I was AIG Zone 2, 2001. That's about 25 years ago. And finally, President Obasanjo, the Ebora of who within 4 years of asking him to write a goodwill message, wrote one. 4 hours. I'm not sure he was in the country. I said you should write a goodwill message. And he did. I'm grateful. I copiously acknowledge the immense contributions of the two presidents to my development in the books. I'm grateful. I see the hands of God in my life. I am the son of a shoemaker, born in Jos Plateau State over 80 years ago. Through the dint of hard work and faith in God, I rose to become the IG. I have a colleague here. He's the son of a driver. Is he here? That is the High Chief Johnson. He rose to become the Surveyor General of Ondo State. We were meeting in the 50s in Jos. Kabiyesi too is there, the Jagun of Ilewluji and his Oloris. I want to thank them for being here. Jagun, thank you very much, the Olori. The Jagun titled me Boyero of Ilewluji. My Kabiyesi of Onyi titled me the Jagumolu of Onyi Kingdom. Oba Lawrence Bamishile. Is he here to be recognized? Please, Kabiyesi, recognize him. And the Owa of Ogbagi, who gave me the title of Bobaniyi of Ogbagi. Owa, thank you very much for titling me. I appreciate for honoring me with their presence here. I cannot fail to mention my mentor, Oba of Lagos, Oba Akiolu, who has been a pillar of support to me. He has also handsomely launched the book. I am most appreciative. I thank the chief presenter, the chief launcher, and many launchers who are present to make this launch a success. Finally, I acknowledge the presence of my squad mate with whom we began a journey 53 years ago as cadet officer. She was the only female in our squad. Of all the 25 of us who commenced training in 1973, only 5 of us are still alive. Mrs. Buki Odubi Yajai, can you stand up to be recognized? That's the female. When I became IG, of all my mates of 25, I was the only one left in the force. Some have died, some have retired, some have migrated to other civil service. She migrated to the Navy. He was a director in the Navy. But I remained the Lone Ranger in the force, and I was IG. Is this not the hand of God? Let me not forget to thank my wife, a jewel of inestimable value. Please stand to be recognized. She had kept the home front. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to write. And my children, one of my children came from London just because of this launch. And he did not tell us. We just fought him. I thought, is it a ghost? He came and he'll be going back within a week. I want to thank him. I want to thank the efforts of Ayo. Is he here? Yeah. The two of them are there. Ayo, who had sleepless night facilitating this launch. I want to thank the committee for their work. I want to thank everybody that is here. I thank you very much, and I appreciate your presence. Thank you.